As you know, Congress has less than 3 weeks to reach an immigration compromise or risk another government shutdown.
Yeah.
One issue on the table is the fate of DACA recipients. This stands for the undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. illegally as children through no fault of their own.
Right.
Cecilia Martinez was born in Mexico. Her parents brought her to the U.S. as a baby. She grew up here in Iowa. Cecilia?
Yes, good evening. Thank you. So I am a DACA recipient, and I am tired of being used as a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
I worry about my future and the future of other DACA recipients and those still without legal status, some of who are our own parents.
Yeah.
What solutions do you see to help protect the parents of DACA recipients or those for which there is no clear path to citizenship?
Right. Well, thank you, first of all, for your courage in standing up and speaking out. DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. I have served since I've been in the United States Senate on the Homeland Security Committee of the Senate, and consistently since day one when it came to the confirmation process, much less the oversight process of who would head the Department of Homeland Security, I have had serious concerns about the fact that they are refusing to keep America's promise to you and everyone who went through that process. And it is wrong. And it also is contrary to who we said we were. And let's all be clear about what DACA is, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. So Cecilia, like so many others, we're told that if you go through this process of answering questions about the circumstances upon which you arrived, who are your parents? Are you living a productive life? Are you in school? Have you committed any crimes? What are you doing now? If you went through that process of a vet and filled out all those questions and answered all those questions, and if you cleared the vet, the United States government gave these young people DACA status, protection. And we promised them, and it is in writing, if you give us this information about who you are, we will not share it with ICE, and we will not use that as a basis for deporting you. We promised you that. Then this administration came in and broke that promise. Broke that promise. And so what we have is bad role modeling, not to mention the fact that we have hundreds and thousands of young people like you who are presenting us with the promise of America and have to live in fear every day that you might be deported because the administration came in and broke America's promise to you. And it is wrong. And on your point about parents, it is wrong, and you're exactly right, for this administration to then trade the idea that, okay, well, maybe we'll let the kids stay, but not their parents. So yet again, we have an example of this administration willing to separate children from their parents, which is inhumane and contrary to who we are and the values we hold as Americans. And so I will say to you that I stand with you. There are so many who do, and we should not be trading on your life for the sake of the political games that this president is playing in trying to vilify young people like you who are doing nothing except being productive and believing in and living the American dream.
But let me ask you, Senator. I know you quite literally said that we shouldn't be trading protections for women like Cecilia,
people for young people, students. They're college students. They're serving in our military. They are living productive lives. And this administration has decided to vilify them and to trade on them for the sake of this president's medieval vanity project called a wall.
But let me ask you, would you be willing to vote for a bill, a compromise piece of legislation that includes money for the border wall that you called his medieval vanity project?
Well, who is going to vote for a medieval vanity project?
Well, okay. It wouldn't say that in the bill.
It
wouldn't say it in the bill. Would you be willing to vote for some border security money, wall money, barrier money, to give permanent protection to DACA children, DACA young people like Cecilia. Would you be willing to make that exchange?
Let me be very clear. I'm not going to vote for a wall under any circumstances, and I do support border security. And if we want to talk about that, let's do that. And let's talk about what really accomplishes border security, which is let's upgrade the technology. Let's look at the fact that the folks who are working on border security on the ground know that they need upgraded infrastructure around things like drones, and they need cameras. So yes, I'm all for increased border security where we need it. I am not for a wall. And let me just tell you something. So here's the thing. I have worked on this issue on both sides. I have worked on this issue, including being a prosecutor who went after transnational criminal organizations. And let me tell you something. I'm talking about organizations that, for profit, are engaged in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. That wall ain't gonna stop them. Let's be clear about that. Let's be clear about the fact that, let me tell you, I have been to the border. I have seen the tunnels. I have seen photographs of tunnels that had already been demolished with walls as smooth as the walls here. Tunnels lined with air conditioning and lighting. Because this is the level of sophistication that is going on with people who are trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings for profit. They're going underground through tunnels. They've got boats. They've got drones. They're not jumping over walls. So the idea that we're going to sell this thing to the American public and require the taxpayers of our country to pay $5 billion for something that will not deliver what he is suggesting we need is ridiculous, and I will not support it.
Kyle Koff is a freshman at the University of Iowa in Iowa City.
What's your name?
Kyle Koff.
Kyle.
Kyle Koff. He studies political science, and he has a question about student debt. Kyle.
Yes. As a freshman college student, student debt is a big concern to my peers and to me.
Yeah.
Here in Iowa, we have seen a significant increase in tuition, mainly due to lack of funding from our state government. What is your plan to make college more affordable and to help student debt?
All right, and thank you, Kyle, and thank you for being here and for stepping up, and you're giving voice to a lot of voices around our country that need to be better heard and understood. First of all, the fact that you have decided that you want to pursue your education and pursue the dreams that you may have is something that should be rewarded. We have a system in place right now where there are so many students like yourself around the country who are preoccupied with the knowledge that they will not be able to pay off those loans anytime in the near future. This is wrong. This is an upside-down system. What we need, first of all, is we need a national priority and commitment to debt-free college, of which I support. We have got to reform the Pell Grant system to allow you to actually get the loans that you need, but that the government is supplying as opposed to for-profit organizations. We need to get rid of the for-profit colleges that are preying on students like you. I have personally prosecuted for-profit colleges that take advantage of students like you, promising a job, promising a bright future while taking your money and not giving you anything in return. And then we also have to recognize that we have not fully understood the importance of giving our young people a pathway to be able to pursue their dreams. And that is about debt-free college, it is about student loans, and it is also about really a commitment to the kind of education that we are also offering and having a path toward the education that is going to be about getting the jobs of the 21st century. Frankly, in so many ways, our leaders, I think, have fallen short in recognizing that with automation happening, it is real. Technology taking hold in so many places, that we have also got to create a path for education that pays attention to what Iowa is doing so well around renewable energies, doing what we need to do around focusing on where you want to be and are we giving you the tools to get there. But student loan debt is something we have got to deal with as a priority. Because when I was going to school, we could graduate and we could pay off those loans and we didn't have to worry like the way you are worrying, and it's wrong, and we are not doing our future. In fact, we're doing our future a great disservice to not fix this problem. So thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.